Hi, welcome to the big show here on Channel 17, our high school pregame show. We're here at week 7. I'm your host, Ken Money, and I'm joined by my good friend and colleague, as always,
Sam Higginson. It's great to be here.
Sam, we're excited for another big week, and it seems these weeks are just rolling along. We're at week 7 already.
Yeah, week 7, and it seems like, Ken, we were just talking about last year's season. We were talking playoff talk. It just seems like yesterday, and here we are talking about week 7, and soon we're going to be talking about Spanish Fork Dons and Maple Mountain and their potential playoff opportunities.
Right. I mean, all the games are big, and we'll talk about that a little bit longer as we go in. But, I mean, maybe it was hard to really feel like the season was almost over because it's been such warm weather. And here tonight, really, it's going to be football weather, it looks like, at all the stadiums.
Yeah, which is awesome because we have, and we'll talk a little bit later in the show about this, but we have a special thing that maybe that cold weather will help out just a little bit. So we'll get to that a little bit later, though.
I'm excited. And if people, as always, want to watch these games and can't make it to the game, what are their options?
Well, Channel 16 is going to be covering the Maple Mountain game at UNA via the VTV or Vernal Television station, but we are going to pick it up on Channel 16 so you can watch it there. You can also go to the usual YouTube/17. You can go to sfcn.org. There's always a button there that you can click on and watch the show. And of course, right here on Channel 17, you can pick up the Spanish Fork Alta game.
Yeah, we're excited. We're just a little under half an hour till kickoff. So when we come back from a break, we'll talk a little bit about last week's game, and we'll be right back. Back here at our pregame show. Sam, we need to talk a little bit about last week's game, Spanish Fork Maple Mountain. Huge game, lived up to the hype. One player, either way, the game could have completely changed. Maybe a little bit share some of your observations, what you thought.
Yeah, game, huge implications. I tell you what, both teams kind of struggled, especially in that first half offensively. There was 5 picks between 2 really good quarterbacks in Jaron Hall and Nate Key, so both of them fantastic quarterbacks. But it was kind of rough. There wasn't a rhythm. We didn't get really into a rhythm. But defensively, both teams really did stand out and play really good football. But really what it came down to was just a couple of big plays. One, Maple Mountain and the touchdown pass to James Wilson in the first half.
Yeah,
and
huge.
then that second half reverse play by Austin Edwards was really the backbreaker for the Spanish Fork Dons because it put them in a situation where they had to go into a new style of offense.
Right, and it almost changed the whole offensive philosophy, I think, for Spanish Fork. But the game, the rivalry, it was all there. That Austin Edwards play, you just can't put too much emphasis on that. It was third down, long, and it was almost like a Statue of Liberty type play, kind of.
Yeah.
Got the defense going one way, and he came across the field, and he showed speed like I'm not sure I've seen on the field this year.
No, that was a phenomenal play. I mean, there were guys that had good angles on him all the way down the field, and he was able to just skirt right past them and make that play. And it was a rivalry game to the very finest. It came down, we scored a touchdown with 1:41 to go, got the ball back with 3 timeouts, and then had a chance right there at the end to win the football game. So I guess the Spanish Fork Dons had a chance to win the football game. So, that's exactly what you kind of hope for. But that game is over and in the past, and so we're going to move forward to the next week. This is week 7. It's a region game for Maple Mountain and a non-region game for Spanish Fork. But we had an opportunity Freddie had an opportunity to sit down with some of the players, and we had a chance to interview that guy we were just talking about, Austin Edwards. So let's go and take a look at that now.
How this team is clicking, do you feel? You guys seem to have some good chemistry. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, out on the field or just everywhere at school, out hanging with our friends. These are our best friends. Like, everything we do as a team, and we're just all best friends.
Why do you think that is? Have you guys done anything specific to become best friends, to become tight on the field, or?
A lot of us just have been friends our whole lives, but we have certain traditions we do every week. Like, we'll go out to eat or we'll go bowling together as a team every week, and just that creates good bonds between the team.
And it seems to show on the field as well. How did you feel about that win against Spanish Fork, and did it have any particular meaning because it was against your rival?
Yeah, it was the first time we've ever really beat Spanish Fork. We beat them in that playoff game, but the first time we've ever actually beat them as a program, and that was really cool. And just being my senior year, it was extra special.
And you're a senior leader on this team. How do you feel you've stepped up as your role as a senior leader on this team?
Well, as one of the captains, I just got to make sure that I'm always positive, always helping everybody on the team, and as that, I become more of a leader, and I'm learning leadership skills I'll be able to use my whole life.
You know, Sam, I think it's really interesting to get a chance to talk to some of these student athletes. What an impressive kid, Austin Edwards. And we know he's fast. He talks about his leadership skills, and really, you know, he's developing not only their athletic ability, but you can just get a feel that they're getting some life lessons on the football field that maybe only athletics can offer some of these kids. And I was really impressed with his interview. Just a sharp kid, and he is a fast kid around the end.
It was great to hear him say that at the very end of his interview about learning life leadership lessons that he's going to use for the rest of his life. Another great kid on that team who had a huge game last week, some big bat downs and an interception, was John Elmore, defensive back. We had a chance to talk to him as well.
John, tell us about what was going through your team's mind as you sealed that victory on Friday against your rival Spanish Fork.
It was just a crazy game for all of us. We were all just really happy that we won it, and it's just a great effort by everyone out there.
Your team played great. You yourself had a particularly great game. You had some great pass breakups, especially at the end of the game. You had a pick. How did you feel about that?
I felt like it was really good, and really to our scout offense, because they really give us a good look throughout the week on what we're going to be playing against.
What exactly did your coaches have to say to you as far as feedback about that game afterwards?
About the game, well, mostly the defense was pretty solid throughout the whole game, and we didn't have too much wrong to fix. Just mostly, yeah, we did pretty good.
Do you feel like you have any specific duties as a kind of a leader on this team? It's your senior year.
I kind of just make sure the kids keep their heads out there on the field, don't get any personal fouls, and make sure everyone's doing their job out there.
When they do get a personal foul, maybe they lose their temper a little bit or do something stupid. What is your message to them?
I just go up and talk to them and tell them that they're hurting the team when they do that. They're not just making themselves look bad and making all of us look bad.
You know, Ken, John had a great game, great defensive back, made some huge plays for the Golden Eagles. And what a sharp kid as well.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah.
It's just coming out in all of these kids, and it was kind of fun. Now we talked to a couple of the big guys, and we talked Jarrett Boyer playing, you know, interior lineman, big strong guy, and it was interesting some of his pregame rituals. And I think we're a little surprised at what his pregame go-to snack was. And let's take a listen and see what's kind of giving him the motivation he needs before a game.
Jarrett, in what was thought to be, maybe beforehand, what was thought to be an offensive battle, kind of turned into a defensive game there. How did you feel like your defense showed up against Spanish Fork?
Oh, we showed up big time. Like, second play of the game was a pick. They're on their own 3-yard line. We stopped them, and it was just big. We all did our assignments and pulled out a win.
What did you do to kind of fire your guys up? You had some big plays yourself. Besides that, what did you do to help your guys stay motivated throughout the game?
Not much because of Spanish Fork, homecoming. It didn't take much to pump them up, but I just got to, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't really do much. It was just already pumped up. So.
Tell us how much the win means to you guys, being it is homecoming and it is Spanish Fork.
Oh, it's a giant win because, yeah, it's homecoming, rivalry, but more important, playoffs. Like, we just got to keep winning region, and then we'll get a home game. Yeah.
How confident is your team feeling going forward, especially on the defensive side?
Oh, we're really confident. Like, defense has been, like, on point, and so we're pretty confident, and we just got to keep our heads and keep going.
What's your favorite pregame snack, Jarrett?
Peanut butter jelly sandwich. I go home and eat that every time. So.
That's all it takes to get the job done.
Mm-hmm. That's all it takes.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Ken. I think that there's a lot of guys out there that follow that. PB&Js are really big among that group of people. In fact, I still like them.
Yeah,
it comes from my football days. So
they come in, he could eat. Like,
yeah,
he could sit down and put a whole loaf of bread away himself. Yeah, but now on the opposite side of the coin, now we're going to go to the kickers.
Yeah.
Who are a little bit kind of a different breed. We always know that. It's kind of the stigma, but I think it kind of holds true more times than not. And
they kind of get to practice on their own, do their own thing, right?
Maple Mountain's really lucky. Special teams are good, and their kicker, Tanner Dade. Good kicker, and he talks a little bit about the significance of his hat, and it's kind of fun. Let's take a look at what Tanner had to say.
Tanner, you've had a lot of success as the kicker of this Maple Mountain team, and you've been a leader definitely on the special teams side of the ball. But before we get into that, before we talk about anything on the field, I got to know about this hat, because you're wearing the hat, you know, before games, during games on the sideline, at practice. Tell us about this hat.
This hat's actually kind of like a reward that we get for our team. It's kind of like a motivation, I guess. We set goals, and one of our coaches actually, I'll give you a hat if you meet your goals. And so I set a goal. It was 75% touchback last year, and I think about halfway through the season we had a safety, and I kicked a touchback on a safety, and he just gave me the hat right after that. So it's kind of lucky charm now, but that's how I got it.
Tanner, sometimes kickers have their own routine as far as working out. Sometimes they don't work out with the team. I'm wondering, how is that with you? Do you work out? Do you do everything with the team, or what's your schedule?
Yeah, I do the workouts. I often get, do I even work out? Because I'm fairly skinny, but that I can take that to soccer. But yeah, I'll work out with the team. Most of the time it's my own workout, but yeah, we'll do a team workout. So yeah.
I'll tell you what, another thing, we just talked about the PB&J. Those bucket hats are really becoming a big thing among these young kids, and Tanner is certainly deserving of earning that because he's been a huge key to that team this year.
75% kicked into the end zone. That's
Yeah, it's
a huge
amazing.
weapon. And Coach Burtonshaw, you know, he's such a good guy. I think Spanish Fork and Maple Mountain are so lucky to have two really charismatic young coaches that
Yep.
the kind of guys you really want your kids to play for, right? And we had a chance to catch up with Coach Burtonshaw, who's always good to talk to us before the game, and let's hear what he had to say about last week's game.
Coach, tell us about what this win meant to your team and if it's helping to build momentum.
Yeah, I think every win helps build momentum, but especially against a good team like Spanish Fork. I mean, that was a tough game, and, you know, good things and bad things on both sides of the ball. We were just fortunate to, you know, probably make one more play than they did and come out on top. So,
Talk about the performance of your defense and also the growth of your defense to this point.
you know, the defense, we have some good kids that have some experience there, and I was just really proud of them executing the game plan. I mean, they really didn't try to do more than what we asked them to do. They didn't try to be heroes. They just did their job and did it the best they could, and I felt like that was huge for us.
Did you expect Spanish Fork to go more to the air than they did? They had a pretty consistent running game throughout the game.
You know, that they're quite good at both. I know they like to throw, and so we tried to fix a few things on our defense that would take some of that away. But yeah, I mean, they did a good job on both. So.
Coach, the score was locked up 7-5 most of the game until that fourth quarter when we saw a little trickery. Tell us about that play call. Whose play call was it, and why that decision?
You know, Spanish Fork had done a really good job of flowing to a lot of our plays, and I think we just needed to do something different. Coach Huffman, our offensive coordinator, made the call, and just kind of instantly, we both said, all right, that's a good call. With what they were doing, the way the game was going, we needed to do something different, maybe that they hadn't seen before. So, yeah, it was a great call.
What adjustments are you making for the Uinta game?
You know, I think a lot of times you just try to do your same game plan. You try to keep a lot of your same plays, a lot of your same defense, but you try to put in a wrinkle or two. You know, something that maybe the other team hasn't seen on film, but for the most part, you try to do what you're good at and keep things pretty consistent.
Coach, is there a player up to this point that surprised you as far as their performance or their growth?
You know, I think we've had a lot of kids that have done a good job, and I wouldn't say really surprising. A kid that I'm really proud of right now is Colby Smith. He's contributing on both sides of the ball, every special team, never asked to come out. And he just works his guts out, and you know, I'm just really proud of him, and because he really didn't play a lot last year, and he's come in and been a big contributor for us.
You know, Ken, you heard Coach Burtonshaw talk about the significance of this game, and I think it was really twofold. One, the significance of beating Spanish Fork. That's always big. You beat your crosstown rival. That's something that you can always hang your hat on for the rest of the year.
Right.
And also the fact that it puts you in a pretty good position for the playoff run. I mean, they're now 2-1 in region, and they're sitting pretty good. They've already played Springville and Spanish Fork, two of the tougher teams. So it puts them in a good situation.
Yeah, and Coach Burnside kind of has his work cut out for him after a big emotional win last week. Now they go out to Uinta. They're a prohibitive favorite to go out there. The toughest part of the night might be the drive out and back, really. They're probably a 3 or 4 touchdown favorite. So he's going to have to keep his guys motivated and ready to play. So it'll be fun to watch how things unfold tonight. And we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, let's talk a little bit about Spanish Fork. We're just, less than 15 minutes from kickoff.
Yeah,
let's break down the Spanish Fork game tonight with Alton. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to week 7 here of our high school pregame show. Sam, it's a big night here in Spanish Fork. Kickoff is 15 minutes away, and we have the Alta Hawks coming to town, which they haven't played in Spanish Fork very often. They're traditionally a powerhouse in Utah football, and Spanish Fork's got their work cut out for them, especially after 2 gut-wrenching emotional losses the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Ken, if you see number 20 a lot tonight, that's a bad thing for Spanish Fork. Josh Davis, one of the best players in the state, coming into town. If we can find a way to shut him down, our chances are pretty good. But tonight, there are bigger things than football. And we have this next segment is going to teach us a little bit more about what we're talking about. Coach Smith gets us started. Jordan, there's a little something different this week outside of football that you're somewhat focused on as well. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we have some members of our community, Dallin and Caitlin Naulu, who have recently gone through some tough times where they had a little girl, not even 2 years old, who had SMA, the spinal muscular atrophy disease, and unfortunately she passed away from it, a few weeks ago. And we had decided back, when the summer was rolling and we were thinking about the upcoming season, we knew we wanted to do something for them. And so that's what we're going to do this week. We have a big thing planned for them, and it's a special night, and we hope it is. We hope we get a lot of support from the community and just make the Naulu family feel loved and be able to help them out, financially as well as emotionally. So we're really excited for it.
First, I just want to say thank you for doing this for us and our little girl. When Ani was 7 months, she was diagnosed with SMA. It's a terminal neuromuscular disease that affects all aspects of muscle development. Her muscles never developed. In fact, they'd continue to get weaker as she grew older. Eventually, it affected her breathing, her swallowing, all of her movement. And eventually, it was a cold that took her life. She got a cold, it got in her lungs, and she wasn't strong enough to cough up or clear any of that stuff. And it got into her lungs and it took her life. But it's a brutal disease. I mean, you can imagine a child that loves to run, loves to play, to get into things. And our Ani never could do that. And yet she was happy all the time. Happy all the time. She was just the perfect little girl. So I just want you to put a face to the game tomorrow, to keep her in mind. And I want you guys to know how much we appreciate you doing this for us. It means the world. This trial that we've been through is the hardest thing that we've gone through, but it's been made easier because we have a community that has rallied behind us. People that have done amazing things on our behalf. People we don't know, people we do know, that have reached out and donated their time and their talents and their money to help ease our burden. I mean, you guys are doing it, and we just want to say thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for being willing to get the team and the school, behind us, behind, SMA to help raise awareness for this disease. It's so close to a cure that they just need more awareness, more funding, all this kind of stuff that you guys are doing. So I wanted to say thank you.
To go along with the game, we kind of wanted to do something special with our uniforms, and so we went with the blackout theme. But rather than keep it for the rest of the year, what our plans are is we're going to resell them after Friday's game, and all proceeds will then go to the Naulu family. And so that's going to be something that will help them out tremendously, and we're really excited to do that. Dallin, break us down. You and Caitlin, break us down.
Hey, bring it in, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Pop it up. Everyone's helping us up.
Let's go. One love on three. 1, 2, 3.
One love.
I just want to thank the community too. We've had their support this whole time, and it's made it easier on us. So thank you.
Yeah, it's been absolutely flooring to see a community rally together, and especially on our behalf. But it's been absolutely amazing.
Boy, really an emotional setting at the end of that practice, and what a great kid, Dallin Naulu, such an awesome receiver, and Caitlin, his wife, at Spanish Fork, and so some more life lessons the kids are learning this week.
Yeah, it's awesome that Coach Smith has involved the guys in this, and there's going to be so many things that we can do to help them with a lot of medical expenses and a lot of things that they're going to donate to help with awareness and research and development for this disease, SMA. I mean, it's a really big thing. These are actually going to be for sale for $1 down at the game. So if you're sitting home and you were inspired by that, make sure you come down and catch a quarter. There's going to be hot chocolate, baked goods. You can make donations. You can buy balloons and let them go at the halftime celebration. We've painted the fields, the end zones, instead of Dons, it says Ani. They also have black jerseys that they're going to be wearing this week. So a lot of really cool things that are going to, Jordan Smith has done a great job of getting these guys involved to help out somebody in our community that's in need.
Just really adds to the emotion of tonight's game. It's
does.
going to be a lot of fun, so we hope everybody comes down and supports the Nau'ulus. Back to football. We're just, we're down to 10 minutes from kickoff, and we had an opportunity to catch up with maybe the most impact player, which is kind of a surprise to us, a freshman, Mace Funa, who's had a big role on the defense. And we talked to him a little bit about some of the big plays he's made and what his brother's got to say about him playing on the other side of the line. And we'll take a look at what Mace had to say.
You have some big shoes to fill with your brother Lofa on the other side of you. What do you do on a day-to-day basis to stay even par with him?
Just come to practice, work as hard as I can, and just to try to make up to his expectations and stuff,
So there's only been a few freshmen, I mean, just a small handful of freshmen that ever started and played for Spanish Fork throughout the entire history of the program. Was there a big transition for you, or did you feel like you were ready physically and mentally?
I'd like to say I wasn't really ready, but just coming to the summer workouts and just putting on the pads for the first time with these high schoolers just made me better. And at home, I do still always tackle my brother with my dad. He just always make us do tackling drills, and so it just prepared me more.
So was the mental side of it tougher than the physical side, or was the physical side a little tougher than the mental side?
Physical side, I needed to hit the gym and start lifting and putting on more weight.
Mace Funa, you lead the state 4A in touchdowns, or excuse me, interceptions, 3 of which have been returned for touchdowns. Is that something you kind of talk a little bit about with your brother?
Yeah, he always gets mad at me and he tells me the next pick I get, he's going to tackle me. And I was just like, okay. And I just try to do my job and make sure everybody does theirs so we execute the play.
You know, it's fun to see him talk about his brother getting ready to tackle him. There is such a good brotherly love there. They really support each other out on the field, but you can tell there's a little bit of competition, so it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. At Spanish Fork, we also had a chance to talk to Tanner Argyle, a guy who is really playing a big role. He's returning punts. He's starting on the corner defense, special teams. He's playing wide receiver, and as a junior wide receiver, we had a chance to talk to him. According to him, everything's fine.
Yeah,
let's
see if his interview is. Last week, you guys came off a really tough loss with Maple Mountain, a crosstown rival. You guys are sitting at 3-3. How do you regroup and take on the rest of the season?
We've made some changes this week that I feel that could make us better, and the coaches have come out here with us at practice and just worked hard and just making us better for us as a team.
You guys are going to be facing a very high-powered offense. They've scored 50-plus points in multiple games. What do you guys got to do on defense to stop these guys?
Just the run game. They have those 2 running backs, fast kids, and we have the people to stop them, so I think we'll be fine.
You guys will be obviously working hard to set an edge from the linebacker's position with Mace and Lofa, Funa, but also you corners are going to have a big job this week.
Yeah, just staying with your man and just doing your assignment, and we'll be fine.
According to Tanner, nothing to worry about. Everything's fine.
Yeah, I love to hear that attitude, though.
That's right.
A lot of fun. Now, we also had a chance to talk to Coach Smith. You always wonder, as a fan, as a player, as a coach, what the emotions of a team are after 2 big losses. They lose 16-14 to Springville, and then 13-11 to crosstown rival Maple Mountain.
They're 2 plays from being undefeated in region.
They are. They are. Less than 7 points. We had a chance to talk to Coach Smith about the state of his players and their emotional performance coming into this coming week. Let's take a look. You guys are sitting at 3-3. How do you guys regroup, especially after a tough loss to Maple Mountain? Regroup. You got a non-conference game this weekend, but you got to put it together for the upcoming region battles.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with our guys. You know, I think high school kids, you can take it 2 ways. You can, after suffering 2 losses by that close and such a heartbreaking fashion, you can have where you just quit and give up and your season's done for, but our guys have done the opposite. They've responded, they're still fired up, they're still playing for something, and the overall morale of the team right now is pretty good.
Great. What do you guys expect to see from Alta? High-octane offense and a pretty good defense. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, they got a pretty good playmaker on offense, number 20. He's very quick, very shifty. Our defense is going to have their hands full in trying to contain him, tackle him. The ball is going to his way if he's in the game, but it's very kind of smoke and mirrors. They try to play action you, throw the ball over the top. So we just got to be very sound in our defensive approach, and I think we'll be fine. Offensively, We threw a lot of new stuff in this week, and we're going to see, you know, what our guys can do as far as executing that stuff. But we're very confident they'll be able to do that.
Hey, we're a couple of minutes away from kickoff, an exciting time right now. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that you can watch the Maple Mountain game via the feed of VTV, Vernal Television, up in Vernal. And thank you, a big thanks to them for helping us out and making sure that the viewers here in Spanish Fork can watch that. Also, Spanish Fork, sfcn.org, YouTube / Spanish Fork 17, or right here on channel 17. We got a lot of options, and I've used every one of them, so they all work great.
And it's so awesome. You know, it's fun to hear Coach Smith talk. You can feel that confidence. Is it me, or is that beard getting longer as the season goes on?
I think he's getting close to cutting it too. That's what I understand. That's what I hear.
But he's just his quiet confidence. You know, it's a big game, and so we're excited for people to come down, watch this game. You know, there's a chill in the air. It's cooler tonight, so it's just going to be all football.
For sure, and come down and get a cup of hot chocolate, even if it's just for a quarter, to support this whole situation with Ani and the football team and where they're at right now. Some changes going on, some things that we're going to see that are new. So there's a lot of excitement building up over across the street here and also up in Vernal.
Yeah, and it's exciting to have the Altahawks come to town. I hope
we
hope we make it kind of a miserable trip for them. So thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Ken, he's Sam. We will be back to talk to you at halftime to kind of recap the first half. And it's time for football.
Yep. See you there. Hey, we want to give a special thanks and a shout out to our sponsor for the high school pregame show right here on SFCN, to Salem Chevron and Burger King.